Hey guys, Marstingen here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so as the month draws on, we will be getting closer and closer to getting news about the Part 2 LR. Part 2 LR could honestly be releasing as early as next week. So I think the earliest we could see a hint or a teaser could literally be the start of this upcoming week. If you're coming to this video a bit later on, this video is being uploaded on Sunday afternoon, the 5th of May. I'm going to be away for a couple of days, so as early as tomorrow, Monday morning, we could potentially see a teaser, which is why I didn't want to have this video go up on the Monday. But basically last year when we look at Bulma and then the year before with the Goku and Gohan, they came out around the 13th or 15th of May. So tomorrow when the new week starts, we could potentially just be 1 week away from the release of the Part 2 LR. Now there hasn't been any like teasers or hints or anything really yet. The only thing we can probably safely assume is that it's going to be Majin Buu Saga related. But when we look at the units that have been released, the banner units, the events and all stuff like that, we're obviously not primarily focused on the very beginning part of the Buu Saga, or at least specifically the part where Buu appears, right? Because the main banner characters are Goku and Fat Buu, right, from their fight. But then the banner units, we have Evil Buu and Gotenks, and they don't come into the saga until a little bit later on. And then, of course, we're getting the Majin Buu Saga Red Zone stages, and we've already gotten to a stage where we have Super Buu. So we're clearly, it feels like any part of the Buu Saga is on deck essentially as an option for this Part 2 LR. So we're going to take a look at the couple of characters that I think could be in line for getting the LR. Some are obviously more likely than others, and then there'll be a bit of speculation for some random like what if stuff that I think would be kind of cool. But yeah, we're just going to jump straight in. I'm very interested to know your guys' thoughts when it comes to the characters that I've picked. Is there anyone you think that would make a good choice that I didn't mention? Or out of the ones that we are going to go through, who do you think is the most likely? Let me know all your thoughts and any ideas you have down below in the comment section. But straight away we're going to jump into one that I know is a pretty top pick for a lot of people, and that is a new LR for Ultimate Gohan. Now obviously Gohan has been on the bit of the up lately. Of course, we've got Beast Gohan is the best unit in the game, who's out on JP only currently. Will be coming to the anniversary in Global for July. And of course, we do have the physical LR Ultimate Gohan. So these guys would have the same name, but that physical LR Ultimate Gohan, whilst he is still usable in a lot of events, people would definitely say that he has aged. And of course, when it comes to certain team builds, if he's not on the Buu Saga, right? He's a very different Gohan. He's a superheroes character, a movie heroes character. So the actual Buu Saga Ultimate Gohan getting a new unit I think would be very cool. And of course this lines up very nicely with Tech Gohan getting his EZA. And of course he transforms into Ultimate Gohan, giving those two, like giving him another really good link partner. The LR coming out will already have a go-to partner, because regardless of what his leader skill is, you would assume it would incorporate Tech Gohan. And then when it comes to these Part 2 LRs, it's most likely going to be a yellow coin LR, meaning his leader skill's not really that important, because it's probably going to be 150% to 1 or maybe 2 categories, which means you're not really pulling him to run him as a leader, right? You're running him on these other teams that he's on. So of course, he's on Hybrid Saiyans. We have Buu Saga, Goku Family, Siblings Bond. He's actually on Revenge, the Ultimate Gohan, which is interesting. Rapid Growth, Saviors, Powerful Comeback, Entrusted Will, Bond of Parent and Child, Earthbred Fire's Power of Wishes. He's on quite a few teams that the superheroes version of Ultimate Gohan isn't on. So there's definitely space for another LR Ultimate Gohan. I think he definitely could be an interesting choice. I don't think it would be my #1 pick, but I think he definitely is up there in terms of the characters that are likely to get a Part 2 LR. And then the other one to mention from a similar sort of point in the story is the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Now, if we hadn't got the Super EZA for Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, I'd say this is more likely. Although, of course, for Global, we didn't get that, right? We didn't get it early. We only got the Int Gotenks EZA, which means we still don't have on Global an actual meta-relevant Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, right? Because the Int one transforms into him eventually, but a unit that starts out as Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, we don't have a meta-relevant one. And if they make this guy a good slot 1 unit, you're still going to be able to run the Tech one with his Super EZA on the same teams, and he can just be a floating unit essentially. So I think Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is a potential option, but I do think the Tech one getting the Super EZA does make it a little bit less likely overall. Now, one thing that would be really cool, is why I wanted to mention these two guys together, is there is the promotional art of the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and Ultimate Gohan facing off against 3 different forms of BUU, which is a super old piece of art. I'll try and find a better quality one. I couldn't find a good one to bring up on the stream mid-recording, so if I've managed to find a good quality one, I'll put it up on the screen now. But this is where they took the art for the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who is of course the headliner Dokkan Fest. So it'd be interesting if they used the rest of the art and we got an LR, Ultimate Gohan and Gotenks. Because they will share a bunch of teams like Hybrid Saiyan, BUU Saga, Saviors, I think they're both on Rapid Growth as well, Earthbred Fighters. And then when it comes to links, it'll be a little bit awkward, but we have seen in the past they have been willing to be flexible on links sometimes, right? Like the LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta from the anniversary getting Saiyan Raw, even though no other Super Saiyan 4 Gogetas have it. So in terms of key, Ultimate Gohan has always been kind of awkward because he has shocking speed instead of prepared for battle. But with the units that you're going to be running these guys around, if we had an LR Ultimate Gohan and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and they gave them like shocking speed and over in a flash, for example, that would be pretty good, right, for them fitting in with some of these teams around them. But yeah, otherwise their links are probably going to be kind of awkward. Like, they're not going to have limit breaking form because they're not both Super Saiyan 3. Innocence and Budding Warrior isn't relevant. Fused Fire and Super Saiyan obviously not relevant for Gohan. All in the Family, probably not either. Saiyan Lineage, I don't know if any Gotenks have ever had that, but Saiyan Lineage Z Fighters, their link set would definitely be interesting, that's for sure. But who knows, maybe they could even go out of their way and give them prepared for battle. Imagine if they actually did make this unit and they just ended up going, you know, saying screw it and giving them prepared for battle, shocking speed and over in a flash. That would be crazy, but probably unlikely. I think it's very low on the list of possibilities, of course, but considering that's where they got the Goku art from, I think that would be kind of a cool touch if that was the part 2 of the celebration. So anyway, next up we have our boy, the meme himself. I thought I'd use the AGL one just because his art's cool, even though the unit is terrible. But LR Kid BUU, the man that has been the meme for the longest time. Him and Omega Shenron, for years, there was the meme that these guys deserved an LR. We really thought they were going to be the part 2 LR for the 7th anniversary, because obviously the Super Saiyan 4s and... No, sorry, it was the 8th anniversary, right? The 8th anniversary, because Spirit Bomb, GT Duo, kill Omega, Majin Buu Saga GT Duo, Spirit Bomb kills Kid BUU. Part 2 LRs would have been perfect to be Omega and Kid BUU, but instead they went for the Super type double carnival with the Kai Goku and the Z Gohan. A lot of people disappointed by those picks, and then of course we later did get the LR Omega Shenron, and he was a controversial release to say the very least, right? Like, the unit himself in a vacuum is kind of good, but he's stuck on GT bosses, which is a terrible team. So the worst case scenario is we actually do finally get the LR Kid BUU that we've been waiting for so long, and then he too is terrible. Now, funnily enough, if they made him like Omega, where he's really good but only on one team, at least for Kid BUU, that team would be Margin Power, which that team is now really good. So I guess that wouldn't be the end of the world. But yeah, LR Kid BUU I know is one that is definitely very high on people's lists. Part 2 could potentially see the Super Easy A for physical Kid BUU, which would be interesting. I don't think they would do that and drop a Part 2 LR Kid BUU as well, though. So we'll obviously have to wait to see how they decide to handle that. But yeah, LR Kid BUU is a popular choice. I know he's very, very high on people's desired list of units that we could see. So yeah, he's definitely a top pick, I think. Margin Power is such a great team now. I would love an LR Kid BUU in Part 2 as an absolute monster unit, and then that team would be one of the best teams in the game, I think, right? Very, very strong. So then we have BUUhan. If we're talking about getting a new BUU, I think Kid BUU is a lot of people's top pick, but a standalone BUUhan, I think, would be really, really good as well. Now, I thought they would probably be saving a standalone BUUhan release for a Dual Dokkan Fest along with a new standalone Super Vegito, but with Golden Week being BUU Saga, I think it's unlikely that a big celebration like Worldwide will also be the BUU Saga. So the only way they could do that as a pairing, I guess, would be to if they did Tanabata as a Vegito and then a BUUhan. But with that being on JP, we don't know when that's going to be on global because of the sync plans, but on JP, that's obviously going to be very soon. So I don't know if they would follow up Golden Week with another big BUU Saga celebration. So I don't think we'll be getting a Vegito and BUUHAN dual Dokkan Fest anytime soon. And if that is the case, then a standalone BUUHAN LR for part 2 of this celebration would be pretty cool. I think, though, Kid Buu is more likely just because of the potential for saving a BUUHAN to go along with a new Vegito release. But that doesn't mean they have to do that, of course. The next Super Vegito release could be for, like, the 10th anniversary, and it's alongside a Super Gogeta, right? So if that was going to be the plan for the future, then a standalone BUUHAN coming out now would make a lot of sense, right? So BUUHAN would certainly be a good option. He's a unit that has all these margin links as well as big bad bosses. So he could certainly be very, very good. The LR Buu-Tank's obviously got his Easy A and transforms into BUUHAN. So if we were getting a new LR, they would probably be 7 out of 7 link partners, right, once he transforms. So that would be very, very good. So I'd be looking forward to that. But I think, like I say, Kid Buu is, I think, more likely unless we're getting Super Vegito paired with another character like Gogeta for a future celebration. And then BUUHAN certainly is in with a shot, right? So then we move on to some of the lesser likely characters. Now, Majin Vegeta is a character that I know people love, especially Vegeta fans. The people were very disappointed, especially the JP player base, when they used some of those animations for the Barbady standby abilities, because people really wanted to see those really well animated voice and everything on like a premium Majin Vegeta unit. Now, we know they've redone animations and stuff like that in the past, so there's no reason why they can't do that for a future Majin Vegeta release. So Majin Vegeta, I think, is a character that is definitely a higher than 0 chance. I think it's more likely, for example, that we get a new Majin Vegeta than we get some kind of crazy what-if LR. But then again, you never know. I think a new Majin Vegeta would be very good. The Int one, the Dokkan Fest that released for Saiyan Day a couple of years ago, is still kind of usable, especially with the new Vegeta for this most recent Saiyan Day. But he's that Trunks restriction kind of kills him for some team builds. I think a new one that doesn't have those kind of restrictions would be really, really good. But obviously that remains to be seen. Like Majin Vegeta, we've always seen like the AGL LR and the Int Dokkan Fest have the final explosion, and with the intro for the Int one, they kind of focus around his fight against BUU. It'd be really cool to get one who's mainly focused around his fight against Goku. I think the tech transforming one obviously is, right? But these guys, that would be, I think, a really hype pick, especially if the tech one and the Int Goku are going to get an Easy A in part 2. A Majin Vegeta, I think, would be very good. Now, speaking of the 2 Super Saiyan 2s potentially getting their Easy A, something that would be really awesome to see as a what-if LR along the lines of like the Gotenks and Gohan would be very cool to see a Majin Vegeta and Goku card. Now, I don't know how they would do it, whether it would just be Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Majin Vegeta, and then essentially you'd have a bunch of their attacks that they use from their fight against each other on the enemy, right? Because we have, even though they are fighting the same enemy in that one, like we have the tech Goku and Vegeta that fuse into Gogeta. They have their cool like combo attacks that they're doing against Janemba as part of their super attacks. Imagine if they took the attacks that Goku and Vegeta were doing to each other in that fight and then put them together as like a joined forces character. So they could either do Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Majin Vegeta. They could do Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Majin Vegeta, which would be a very interesting what-if unit. And then one that I think is almost impossible to see, because I think he's classed as a Heroes unit, but that would be Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Majin Vegeta together would be insane. I don't think they would ever do that outside of a Heroes celebration. Super Saiyan 3 Majin Vegeta, I think, is only in Heroes, so probably not, but I mean, that would be awesome. I'd love to see that, even as a standalone card, but again, I think we're not seeing that unless it was Heroes. But Majin Vegeta has a greater than 0 chance, I think, but I guess we'll have to see. With him being a Super Saiyan character, he has the Saiyan links, he's got over in a flash, like he would work well with the Goku, so I think that'd be quite interesting. But yeah, Majin Vegeta is a top pick. Then we have Great Saiyaman. I've seen a few people talking about the possibility for him. Obviously, Special Pose got a lot of buffs recently on JP with Topo, the release of the LR Ginyu Force, obviously the Gammas for the anniversary. So a Great Saiyaman I don't think would be necessarily the worst pick. His links are a bit weird for the other team members, for a lot of the team builds that he'll be on, but I guess you just kind of supplement that by giving him a decent bit of support in his passive. Like, they can still make him a really good offensive unit or a really good defensive tank, but just maybe give him the ability to give all allies ki and a bit of attack and defense, and then his links aren't going to matter too much. But yeah, I think a Saiyaman could certainly be interesting. I mentioned it on the most recent episode of the podcast, but there was a clip I saw on Twitter of a bit where Gohan is at school in class. Something's going on, and he like runs up to the roof of the school, does like a front flip off the roof, and then in the air transforms into the Saiyaman costume and then flies off, right? That would be a super good intro animation for a great Saiyaman card. So I think he could be certainly interesting. They could even give him a power-up like transformation or something where he has like the going Super Saiyan and losing the helmet and everything, like when he watches the Videl versus Spopovich. I think that would be very cool as well. Give him like a power-up, maybe even just as like a rage mode. Give him that like invincibility turn with the whole, you know, the way rage modes and giant forms work with being able to cancel out enemy supers and stuff. That would be kind of cool too. So certainly would be interesting to see that. And of course, we do have the possibility of the Saiyaman 1 and 2 getting an LR for them being together. I don't know if there is one. Correct me if I am forgetting completely about them existing. But I think all of the Saiyaman 1 and 2 cards that we have, none of them Gohan has his helmet on, right? Because there's a tech one, yeah, where they are both helmetless. And then obviously there's a int Gohan and Videl card before Gohan, before Videl is technically Saiyaman 2. So we could get a Saiyaman 1 and 2 together where they both have the helmets on. Or just, you know, one like this. I'm not a big fan of Gohan having the sunglasses and bandana. I know why he does it, right? For the tournament, he can't wear the helmet and he's trying to keep his identity a secret. But not a big fan of the bandana look. But we could certainly have Saiyaman 1 and 2 together. Or we could even get a Gohan and Videl together as an LR. They kind of suffer the same thing as like a Gotenks and Gohan hypothetical pairing, where their links are really not the best for other teams that they're going to be on. I mean, they link well with some other Gohans, Videls and stuff like that, but I think this one, whilst it could be interesting and they certainly could make a good unit out of this, I think that would probably be one of the lesser popular like options that they could have gone for, but definitely a possibility for sure. And then last but not least on the list here, we have Hercule. Obviously, this is the Hercule and BUU LR, but the unit is just Hercule, right? The champ himself getting a part 2 LR would be kind of funny, especially if they made him like Bulma, right? Because Bulma, when she came out last year for the part 2 Golden Week LR, it doesn't really matter that she's not good on a bunch of these teams in terms of links, right? Like you could throw her on the AGL Blue Boys team from the Worldwide Celebration. You can throw her on like any team where she's getting the leader skill, and it doesn't matter if she links well with other people. She's providing a ton of support, including off rotation, and has that active skill turn. So a unit like Hercule, who's not going to link up super well with these like, you know, Super Saiyan 3 Gokus and Gotenkses and Gohans and stuff like that, as long as he's providing a good amount of support and is a solid unit in and of himself, then it still works, right? Just like Bulma. So Hercule could definitely be a good pick for the LR, as long as he is actually good. Hopefully he has that attack. I can't remember if any of the ones in the game even have this, but there's the attack from, is it one of the Budokai games where he gives them like a Game Boy or something, which then explodes, which would be kind of funny. But yeah, Hercule as an option I think would be interesting. Lower on the list, and definitely low on the list of ones that I would choose personally, but I think he's definitely an option. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If I had to pick in terms of what I think they are actually going to do, I'm going to be leaning more towards either Ultimate Gohan or Kid Buu. But of course there are a whole wealth of options out there. Buu Saga does have a lot of characters on it. I think Vegito will be saved. I don't think Vegito's ever going to be like, you know, even though Golden Week is a bigger celebration, him being a part 2 LR, Candy Vegito, actually, funnily enough, would be kind of a funny option, especially with some interesting what-if super attack animations, but I don't know if he would be a summonable part 2 kind of LR unit, who knows. But yeah, there we go. That is the Majin Buu Saga characters in terms of the ones I think are most likely to get an Easy A. If you think there's anyone else that could get one, or not an Easy A, sorry, Part 2 LR. If there's any other ones you think could be the LR, I will make a speculating about who some Part 2 LRs could be, but that'll be a different video. So yeah, if there's any other units you think could come out as the Part 2 LR, let me know what you think down below. Out of the ones that I mentioned in this video, what do you think of the choices? Do you think any of them are likely, impossible, any of that kind of stuff? And which would be you would be most hyped to see? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.